The Dow was down 900 points. Oil hit $120 a barrel. Circuit breakers fired in South Korea. And then, in the last hour of trading, everything reversed. One statement from Donald Trump flipped the entire market. Here's exactly what happened and what it means for your money. To understand today's insane session, you need to know what's been building all week. The US-Israel war on Iran is now in its second week, and it's been an absolute wrecking ball for global markets. The Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway that carries about a fifth of the world's oil supply, has been effectively shut down. Iran's oil output has collapsed by 60%. The UAE and Kuwait have slashed production because their storage is completely maxed out. This isn't some theoretical risk anymore. This is the biggest oil supply disruption in modern history. Last Friday made things worse. The jobs report came in at negative 92,000. That's right, the economy lost jobs for the first time since the pandemic. Unemployment ticked up to 4.4%. So heading into this Monday morning, traders were staring down a war, an oil shock, and a weakening labor market. Here's how the day unfolded. Overnight, oil futures exploded past $100 intent. At one point, WTI crude touched nearly $120 a barrel. That's the highest since 2022, and crude was up roughly 35% in a single week. When US markets opened, it was a bloodbath. The Dow plunged nearly 900 points. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ each dropped about 1%. The VIX, Wall Street's fear gauge, spiked above 30 for the first time since last April's tariff panic. Overseas, Korea's KOSPI had already triggered a circuit breaker, falling nearly 8%. Japan's Nikkei crashed over 6%. Then, in the final stretch of trading, President Trump told CBS News that the Iran war is, quote, very complete, pretty much. He said Iran has no navy, no communications, no air force, and that things are moving faster than his original 4 to 5 week estimate. Almost simultaneously, the G7 announced they stand ready for emergency oil stockpile releases. The reaction was instant. Oil plunged from its highs, WTI settling at $94.77, down 9% from overnight peaks. The Dow clawed back over 1,100 points from its lows. The S&P finished up 0.83% at 6,796. The NASDAQ surged 1.38%. The Dow closed up 239 points at 47,771. So who won and who lost? Energy stocks remain the undisputed champions of 2026. The XLE Energy ETF is up 27% year-to-date. If you've been holding Exxon or Chevron, you're sitting pretty. On the flip side, financials are getting crushed. The financial sector is down about 10% this year. Private credit giants like Blackstone, KKR, Apollo, and Ares are down anywhere from 12 to 33%. The oil shock and economic uncertainty are hitting deal flow hard. Travel stocks are in a world of pain. Carnival dropped another 6% today. That's down over 20% just in March. Airlines like Delta and United lost more than 5%. When jet fuel is this expensive, those margins evaporate fast. Here's the thing to watch. The Fed is in a really tough spot. They just held rates at 3.50 to 3.75%, but 2 governors dissented and voted for a cut. If this oil shock feeds through to consumer prices, you could get stagflation, rising inflation, and a slowing economy. That's the nightmare scenario that keeps portfolio managers up at night. Here's the bull case. If Trump is right, and this war really is wrapping up, oil could plummet back towards $70 to $80. That would be rocket fuel for a market rally. Travel, airlines, and consumer discretionary would snap back hard. The jobs weakness might even push the Fed toward rate cuts sooner than expected. The bear case. Trump has made premature victory declarations before. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Iran is still barely producing. And even if fighting stops tomorrow, it could take months to restore full oil output. Plus, that negative jobs print isn't going away. The economic damage from this oil shock might already be baked in. Key dates to watch. Wednesday, we get CPI inflation data. If it's hot because of energy, markets could sell off again. And any headlines about Hormuz reopening or Iranian counterattacks will move oil and stocks violently in either direction. Today was a reminder that in this market, fortunes can flip in a single hour. Whether you're bullish or bearish, the playbook right now is stay informed, stay nimble, and don't get caught off guard. If this breakdown helped you make sense of today's madness, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss a market update. Drop a comment. Do you think the Iran war is really ending, or is Trump getting ahead of himself? I'll see you in the next one.